Before I continue, there's something I have noticed and I want to explain it to you. I had a group meeting yesterday with one of my groups, and I took my time to explain it to them. And I think I want to do the same today before we start our meeting, shortly within the next 5-10 minutes. And it has to do with the issue of AI and plagiarism, which is similarity index. One thing that everyone here you have to understand is that we live in a world now that AI tools are available. Like it's easy to get access to AI. And when I say it's easy to get AI tools, I'm talking about it's easy for you. It's easy to get something like ChatGPT, Copilot, uh, quick bots or Quilly bots, whatever, and others. So you are likely to resort to any of these tools just to get your way out because probably looking at your work schedules and the things that you are doing, you are so busy and you want to use any of these tools so that you can quickly put something together and send it. But one thing that you need to understand is that at the same time, AI tools are available and easy to get access to. There are also AI detection tools. And nowadays, there are sophisticated ones. I don't know whether some of you know Authenticate, but beyond Turnitin, there is another software called Authenticate. Many of you don't know because Authenticate is normally used by these top publishers. Authenticate is more powerful than Turnitin, and it's capable of detecting whether you have used AI, you have plagiarized any part. So what you have to do is that just an advice. I'm just advising you. What you have to do is that do your best not to resort to any of these approaches or methods. It's counterproductive. The reason why it's counterproductive is that after you have used any of these tools to write your work, in the long run, these softwares will get you, or like you'll be caught. And once you are caught, you have to go back and rewrite the whole thing again. So to me, it's counterproductive. It's double job. It's not the best. You get my point. So do your best not to resort to. I'm going to show you what to do. At the same time, I'm saying that it's not the best to use AI tools. It is acceptable. It's acceptable to use any of these AI tools to search for information, use them to support your work, and even use them to rephrase or reframe your write-ups, even to turn them from your normal grammatical stuff into perfect or better English or presentation is allowed. But the problem is that many people don't use them to rephrase or to make changes, but rather many people resort to these tools just to generate a report, and they go ahead and submit the report to the school, to their lecturers, to their supervisors, to whatever. I guess you all have been following the South African issue about AI, where and it's interesting, where a report which is supposed to guide AI, the report itself has been generated by AI. It's like something that like it's a national a national policy. It's funny. It has become a scandal. I mean, if you have not read, please when we finish the meeting, you go and read it. Okay, something which is supposed to guide people against AI itself has been generated by AI. Or the report itself was generated by AI. So please take note. No institution is against AI, and no one is against AI tools. You are at liberty to use any of them, but you are not allowed to present them as the final work. I had a similar issue not long ago with one group that I have, and within this group, we did some work, but some of them, because they use AI tools and they didn't bother to even look at what they have generated. When they send their work to me, when you read the work, the contents sound funny. They sound funny. You know, the person is saying he's going to the east, but the write-up is showing that they are going to the west. Yeah, because remember, you are dealing with a machine. Yeah, all AI tools are machines. So sometimes they will generate certain things that normally, if you are an experienced person in academia, when you read it, you detect it that this thing is not. And some of them too, they are too perfect. Because a normal human being writing an article is expected to make one or two mistakes, irrespective of who the person is. So I'm encouraging everyone here. It is counterproductive. It is not worth it. And as I'm helping you out with you becoming top tier journal or top scholars, nowhere in the world, nobody will accept an AI generated, and you can't hide it. I just want to tell you, if you think maybe you are too smart and you can make it in such a way that nobody will catch you, it is not the case. I'm sorry. But now, because people are smart, quote unquote, they think they are too smart. People are also coming up with sophisticated softwares that can detect that you have used AI or you have. So please restore to the basics. So I'm going to show you something simple within the next 4 or 5 minutes. And then to me, I'm just giving you my experience. Even with respect to AI and plagiarism, personally, I don't check them. And this is why I don't check them. When I'm writing, I've always been saying this. It's a very difficult, tough approach. But when you learn it, when you start now, and the thing become part of you, you are going to enjoy it forever. If you want to write anything, go and read about it. For example, this AI scandal in South Africa. Go and do your own research. Read articles. Read articles. If it is video, watch videos. Get to know what the thing is about. Once you get to know what the thing is about, what is the next step? The next step is for you to put down something. One of the things I've come to notice is that many people have low self-confidence. And personally, that's one of the, I'm going to give 2 reasons, even though there are many other reasons. But I think many people have low confidence because many people think that whatever they are writing is not good enough. And therefore, they think AI or other tools can do a better job than whatever they are thinking. And therefore, they want to easily resort to AI tools so that they can get they can get their way. It's low confidence. One thing I want to encourage everybody is that believe in yourself, have high confidence. Whatever you are writing makes sense. Hello, King. Where is this lady? What's her name? Eugenia. She doesn't normally come to meetings. Can you find out?
Yeah, Doc, I sent her a message when she joined, but she has read it, but she hasn't joined. I don't know. Maybe she's
Okay.
busy.
Okay. Yeah. So have confidence in yourself. Like believe in what you are writing. AI, remember, all AI tools have been put together by human beings. All the software that you can think of, Copilot, they were all made by human beings. That's why we keep on having versions, like updated versions. Believe in yourself. I'm not saying that like you are perfect or no, I'm not saying that I'm also perfect, but believe in what you are doing. Believe in what you have read. Believe in your distance. That's how you develop as a researcher. But when you start having this mindset that I'm not good enough and a certain machine can do a better job than me, you are likely to resort to these tools to help you out. Of course, when you begin as a amateur or a beginner researcher, you have that kind of mindset. But over the years, or as time goes on, if you keep on and keep on and keep on and keep on, you develop that kind of confidence and you become okay. So that's the first thing. Another reason why I think people want to use AI tools is that like people just want to have an easy way of doing research. But as I presented it, or as I demonstrated it on the page yesterday, or this yesterday or today, depending on where you were. There's nothing like an easy way to do research. Yes, research is not easy. That is the reason why people spend years before they discover something great to impact the world. That's why people spend years in labs. People spend 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Before they went to space. Christiana Koch and her colleagues. Do you know the number of years they have spent preparing before they went to space? That short time. In other words, what I'm trying to say, there's nothing good in this world that you want to do that come with, I'm going to sit down within 5 seconds and produce something. And therefore, you have to also take this mindset of, I want an easy thing. I want to do something easy. I want to do something. You can't do it. You can't produce any groundbreaking research in this world with that kind of mindset. So I want to encourage everybody to take that kind of also mindset away. Take that kind of mindset. Remove it, delete it, put it somewhere. You must be somebody who is ready to sit down, spend some time, read something, research into something. You are a researcher. Research into something. This easy thing, like I want to get something easy, something simple. Oh, I just want to. You can't do anything groundbreaking. And normally, when people read your papers or your articles, they will get to know whether you are somebody who has really done some, not some, but I mean, you have really read. You are a well-read person. That is why the people in the the legal field, they call themselves my learned colleague. Learned. You must be somebody who have, I mean, read a lot of law books. Oh yes. Nobody will come out as a lawyer who has just sit somewhere. If you have friends who have gone to Makola or whatever they call it, ask them this, the number of things that they have read. So there is nothing like an easy thing. I want everybody to start, especially those of you who are starting, this is your first time that you are putting an article together. Understand this. It doesn't also mean that you have to put fear in yourself and, I mean, be afraid that, oh, then this thing, hey, what is going to happen to me, this and that and that. There's nothing like, it is just a matter of developing something. If you develop a good habit, it will become part of you. Develop a good habit. It's a habit. You develop a good habit and that thing will be part of you forever. As you are starting, I understand at this moment it's difficult and all that, but if you decide to be on the right path, it will take you to many places. So start that kind of mindset, and that will help you to become a good researcher. And by doing that, you will not resort to these AI tools and all that. To me, AI tools are for helping, supporting, aiding your research, just like a Google search engine. You put something in, you search, it will give you information, you read about it. That's how I see AI. But I don't see AI as my final destination, something that will generate a report for me. I'll just sit in somewhere, I'll put a topic, generate something for me quickly, then I'll go and send it and submit it. It's not helpful. And once again, as I said, it's counterproductive. You are going to be caught. So if you are going to be caught, why are you starting, or why are you doing this? Because after you have spent, let's say, 2 months, 3 months generating all your reports with AI tools, you'll be told to go back and do the whole thing again. You are wasting everybody's time. You are wasting your own time. You are wasting the group's time. You are wasting everybody's time. And when your paper or your article is sent to any journal, they will reject it too. That's what I want to let you know. They will reject it. No journal will accept any AI generated article. That's what I'm forget about it. No article. I mean, no journal, sorry. Nobody will accept. So these are the things I want to let you know, so that as you are beginning, because I know some of you are still at the introduction, some of you have not even started and all that. That's okay. But as you are beginning, I want you to begin on the right note, so that you finish on also the right note, or you finish as the best, instead of starting something and all these months that we are spending, we get to somewhere, maybe July, August, we take your paper and the whole paper is AI generated, and then we just put it somewhere, or we tell you to go back and rewrite it. It's counterproductive. It doesn't help. It does not help. Yeah. So that's the introduction for today. And once again, as I said, there's nothing to be afraid of. It's just a matter of developing good habits. It's because if you develop a good habit, like right now, as I'm here, I'm not perfect in terms of writing, but there's nothing that I write that you are likely to. No, you are likely to. You not even you not accuse me of AI, because I have decided to use. I have decided to put my things together by not resorting to these tools. I use the tools, yes. I use the AI tools as something to search for information to guide me about something, but I don't use them to generate my final report. Yeah, so I think you can do the same. Yeah, learn to do the same, because nowadays the temptation is so high. You are likely to be tempted, because looking at your busy schedules and all that, and looking at maybe always you are being asked to send this and send that, send this and send that, you are likely to be you'll be tempted to just use any of these tools to generate something and move on. But remember, the consequences of you being caught is high. Like, as I said, a South African issue, their reputation, everything. It will affect you, and it will affect the group that you are in. So do the right thing, and you're going to be okay. Okay, now let's move on to. Can you see my screen? Something. Okay, I think, yeah, as somebody will say, it's a family meeting. So my pastor will say, today is a family meeting. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes, Doc.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to introduce you to today's the literature review, and then next week, God willing, we'll go into the other sections. Okay, so today I'll introduce you to the conceptual part, where you explain the key terms of your work. So as you can see from this diagram, this study, sorry, this page, not the diagram. As you can see from this page, this study, I'm using one of the articles I wrote. This study is about critical success factors for green finance on zero carbon buildings. So here, the key concepts are green finance and zero carbon buildings. Okay, so you can decide to explain these concepts based on existing literature. So don't forget, this is the literature review part, and therefore with the literature review part, you need to have read a number of studies. Okay, good. So you can explain the key concepts about your topic. So one of the key concepts here is green finance, and another concept is zero carbon buildings. And then you can try to link the two of them together if it is possible. So here, yes, I did the same. So past studies on green finance or green buildings. So I linked the two of them together. So one, the key concepts, explain the key concept and try to link the concepts together. Great. So in trying to present the key concepts, you can look at definitions. What is the definition, or how is that key concept explained in the literature? You can present that. You can also give a historical background, because there are some of the studies that I did that, like where did green, for example, in this case, if I think I did that, right? I think, yeah, it's here. I give a little bit of a historical background of where green finance started from and how is it going since it started. You get my point. So that's it. You give historical background, and you also give the contemporary research, like currently, how is the concept doing? How is it doing? Like, is it, yeah, something like that. Like, has people given it additional flesh? Like, have they added some things to it, or is still the old thing, or something? Like, help us to know. Yeah, because maybe since this example, maybe since it was defined or explained many years ago, currently there is an additional explanation that has been given to it. And even some of the concepts, you even contextualize it, because some concepts, their definition, it is explained or it's defined in, let's say, in advanced countries, different. When you come to developing countries, the explanation is different. So you have to, and this is where many reviewers, many editors will expect you that you have one particular definition for the concept, which will form the the basis of your study. Because, for example, green finance, there are many studies that they have tried to define, or they have tried to explain what green finance is. So according to you, according to this study that you are undertaking, what is green finance? So if you also say AI, based on your study, what is AI in this study? You need to help us to know. Well, maybe probably your definition of AI may be different. You know, those of you who are into construction management, there is something that we call WBS dictionary, work breakdown structure dictionary. Work breakdown structure dictionary help you to understand each of the items in your scope statement. And not only the scope statement, it will also help you to understand each of the items in your work breakdown structure. Normally, you put together your work breakdown structure based on your scope, project scope. So for me, who is a street person or pedestrian, if I want to understand your project and the activities that you are going to undertake, what will help me to understand each of the activities that you undertake will be based on what we call WBS dictionary. Because what you say is green finance may be different from my definition or my meaning of green finance. So they say, like, I mean, WBS dictionary does. For example, if somebody says, the person is saying that he's going to undertake electrical works or plumbing works, it may be different. Your explanation or your definition of plumbing work may be different from another person's explanation of plumbing work, electrical works, or MEP, or excavation, or whatever. Your definition, your explanation, your interpretation of that, according to your project, may be different from somebody who is also taking a similar project elsewhere. Therefore, you need to explain each of your activities that you are going to undertake. The same thing applies to explaining the concepts according to your study. So according to your study, in this case, I'm using green finance as an example. What is green finance here? Because maybe for all that you know, maybe according to you, green finance is maybe climate change. Or maybe to you, green finance is something, I mean, socially responsible fund. Green finance is an investment vehicle. Green finance is this, green finance is that. So try to contextualize the concepts so that we will know that as you are using it in this study, this is what it means. This is what it represents. So contextualize that. Any other thing that you can put in the concept you can go ahead to talk about the types, if there are types, or if there are different dimensions. Okay. And then once again, this part, you can give some statistical information about the concept if they are available. It's not every concept that has statistical information, but if they are available, give some statistical overview about the concepts. Maybe, for example, green finance over the years, how green finance has grown. You know, how many countries are having green finance policies? So and so, that, you know, so you can give that. So some data, some statistics, if they are available. It's not every concept that has statistics and all that available. So you don't have to worry yourself if they are not. And even research, if it is possible, the concept, maybe over the years, people have done a lot of research. Because I remember I wrote about one concept somewhere in one of my articles where I gave over the years the number of papers that people have written about that concept. That, let's say, I think one of my PPP papers, that in the early 1990s, early 2000s, there were a few papers, and in this contemporary 2020s, we have seen so and so that give a certain number of articles. Yeah, so you can look at all this. So that's how you present your concepts. Okay, great. And this will once again come down to reading and understanding what you are presenting. And it's not advisable to do copy and paste, because copy and paste, going to copy somebody's things and coming to present it here, sometimes they don't even fit into whatever you are writing. So understand what you are writing, know what you are writing, and all these things, don't forget, they are based on literature. Good. Another thing that I want to help you to know is that when you are explaining your concepts, and especially the literature review part, always quote people. When I say quote people, start by saying that so and so is different from putting the references. So I'm helping you out with the references. It's good to start the references with, let's say, Emmanuel mentioned that here you have to be, I don't know whether the word is, you have to be exact, definitive, or like you need to be sure of what you are presenting. So for example, you say Emmanuel mentioned that, or Isaac mentioned that, or Thomas stated that. It's that one, it shows you are sure of what you are presenting, compared to maybe you writing something and putting the reference or the citation at the end of the sentence. So if you check this zero carbon building section, for example, I was able to get some papers where I started with them. So for example, I said, Reading and so mentioned that. I went ahead to say Pan stated that. Musheti so and so did that. You get my point? Yes. But at the same time, I'm not also saying that everything should also be like so and so said as so and so, because not everything to that must also, not every recitation that you have to have it at the beginning. Some of the citation they deserve to come at the end of the sentence. But here, I will encourage you that you become more definitive or sure of what you are stating. Okay, great. Now I go to linking the concept. In trying to link the concept, that is where the issue of conceptual framework will come in, because you are linking concepts. Right? Great. So here, if I was to be more conceptually minded, I should have put together a diagram. But the diagram here, I'm dealing with only two concepts. That's the reason why I decided not to put any conceptual framework here. Because the two main concepts here in this study, these concepts are green finance and zero carbon buildings. But if I'm dealing with three concepts, like as some of you are doing, like if you take Sharon's work, Sharon is dealing with electric vehicles, stakeholder engagement, and I think about three concepts or so. In that case, it's a good idea that you draw a conceptual framework. And the basis of a good conceptual framework is reviewing past studies. And based on the past studies, you link the concept together. It's just linking. Linking means like you are trying to create, or you are trying to examine, you are trying to assess, you are trying to review the relationships between the concepts. Do they have any relationship or they don't have? So you help us to know, and that's where the conceptual framework will come in. Here, I decided not to put conceptual framework once again because I dealt with only two concepts. So to me, it was not reasonable to draw. I know some people do, and even one of our papers recently that we published on circular economy. Let me see whether I can get that paper if it is possible. And let me show you. One paper that we published with respect to circular economy. The reviewers asked, or quote unquote force us to, I think it will be this paper, if I'm not wrong. The reviewers force us to put in a conceptual diagram. Yeah, the reviewers force us to put a conceptual diagram. I'm hopeful with this paper. I'm hopeful. I think so. Let's see. If not that one, then I'll look at something else. Yeah, so you can you can put in conceptual diagram if the diagram fits into the system. Yeah, exactly. So this is what I'm talking about. Can you see my screen? Yeah, but personally, I will not encourage. It's acceptable, especially when you are dealing with issues of like the causal relationship between. You are trying to run a panel regression. Even if not a panel regression, even with the PLS, this PLS that we are doing, partial least squares or structure equation modeling, if you have two relationships, you can go ahead and do that. But I prefer more than two concepts. When you are presenting more than two concepts, it's great. But at the same time, I'm not saying that you can't present two concepts. As you can see in this diagram, you can show the the relationship between them. Which one is leading to what? Or which one is affecting what? Yeah, so in this case, or in this diagram, if you can see, let me make it bigger. Yeah. This was our conceptual framework. Yeah. So something like this. Yeah. So this diagram is showing the relationship between the success factors of circular economy and then you delivering a PPP project. Yes. So something like that. As I mentioned, for you to establish the relationship, for you to know which one is affecting the other, you need to refer to existing studies. So for example, here, you can see that I presented Golipo, Ajomandi, and Ajomandi 20, whatever the year, I don't know the year. And I presented that they examined the contributions of green finance in 98 building industries across the world from 2012 to 2018. The study covered emerging and economically advanced countries. The study reported that about 40% carbon emissions come from the building industry. As part of the measures to address this problem to achieve zero carbon building practices, the study contended that property green finance models such as green bond and climate finance are being pursued by the builders. The findings mention the need for reduction in, it's just a summary of what they mentioned. I mean, what they found and how it relates to your current study. So you just try to look at a brief overview of the study. Okay, then another paper was McRae and Toza. That study research into the factors that influence the finance of retrofitting and decarbonization agenda of building projects. Another study by Wang Hao reiterated this significance. Another study by this. Okay, so based on these studies, I explained the relationships between the two concepts. So I was able to present empirical evidence or scholarly evidence, literature-based evidence to support that indeed there is some form of relationship that exists between green finance and zero carbon buildings. Okay, so in some cases or in many cases, once these relationships are presented, it's out of these relationships that now you go ahead to say that, okay, based on these relationships, there is some gaps, even though these relationships exist, but current study have not covered A, B, C, D, and therefore our current study is trying to do that. I didn't do that in this case, but I have done that in other papers where I have research gaps, right? And normally that research gaps that we present in this section is almost the same as the one that you present in the problem statement. So two things, you can choose to present detailed research gaps in the literature review section, or you can just add it to the problem statement at the introduction. Any of them work perfectly. Okay, so I'm going to end here today. I'm just going to go by my time today. We'll continue next week. So please, you can start. So identify the key concept, because next week and the following week, I'll draw the conceptual framework with you, and then those of you whose work are more theory inclined, I'll also show you how to go up well. Yeah, but for the meantime, whether your work is based on the theory or it's not based on the theory, start explaining the key concepts based on existing literature and try to see whether, and because there are some of the concepts nobody has linked them together, and that's the gap. That is what you are trying to do now, especially when you are doing a study which many people haven't really researched into it. Many people have not researched much into it. That is what you are feeling as far as this current study that you are conducting is concerned. If, for example, people have not done mass studies linking green finance, zero carbon buildings, probably that's what you are doing now. And as you are doing that now, you are filling the gap. So everyone start writing this section. Identify the key concept. As I mentioned, how do you get a key concept? Just refer to your research title, or check your research objective, or check your research questions. Based on your research questions, identify the key concepts. The key concepts. In other words, in simple terms, the key issues. In simple, another simple term, the key words. Like if I take your topic right now, what are the key words running through the topic, your study, and go ahead and give us explanations to it. Okay, so my time is up. I make sure the one we meet it, and then we go. At this point, I'm going to give 10 minutes time. I want us to really go by the time so that we can close. So I've opened the floor. If you have a question or you want to pass a comment, you can do that before we go. Thank you. Yes, is there anyone who has a question? Or is there anyone who wants to pass a comment? Okay. So if nobody has a comment or question, or there's someone, yeah, you can unmute yourself and talk, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Hello, Doc. Yeah. Doc, in trying to link the concept,
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead, talk, please.
yeah. So, for instance, you were talking about the green finance, and then zero carbon.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, for instance, my topic is related to yours, and you have already linked it. But one of your variables, maybe you link one variable to different variable, and then maybe what I'm linking is exactly to one of your variables. So, doing so, will it be that I'm copying you, or what would that be? For instance, you are linking green finance, and I'm linking green finance and then climate finance. Though they are related, but they are not the same. So in order not to, let's say I'm copying your work direct, how do you link a work that has already been linked?
Yeah, and somebody will say there are many ways to kill a cat, right? Have you heard that term before? Yeah.
Yes.
Just choose to, choose this. Just see the other paper as something that does not exist. Like, for example, in this case, where you said, I have linked something and therefore you are trying to link the same thing. Assume that my paper does not exist. That's how you start.
Okay.
You start it from, okay, this paper does not
All
exist
right.
and I'm doing my own thing. So if you are doing your own thing, today I decided not to go there because I've done this already with you. So, and if I decided to do that, it should have taken us a long time to get here. Remember the first time that we met, or somewhere last month or last 2 months, I took you through how to get articles. If you really remember, from what?
Yes.
From Google Scholar and all that. So, for example, in your case, you are dealing with climate finance and uh, low carbon buildings or zero carbon buildings. If you decide to search for this, articles will come out, right? And I mentioned also that when you are searching for the articles, it's not like you get exactly the keywords that you put in there, but things which are similar, related to the keywords will come out. So, for example, in this case, as you can see from here, a paper which was published in 2017, Eco Financing of Low Carbon Buildings and Cities. This is a clear or one of the papers that you can use as your basis. Instead of referring to exactly what the other person used in the person's study. When you use exactly, in your case, for example, you were using exactly the same papers as I use for mine. Meanwhile, when you search when you search on the Google Scholar, you get papers like this, which I didn't use. I didn't use this in my paper, right? So it is on
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
to do more searches and also assume that the other paper which has done a similar thing as what you are doing, assume that it doesn't exist. That's one. Two, do more searches to find articles because so many articles exist. as far as your topic is concerned, if you really do research. So many articles do exist. Yeah, so it's up to you. There's so many ways to kill a cat. So find the other way to kill the cat. There's no one way to kill a cat, as they say it. And if you do that, you're going to be fine.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. You're welcome. Any other person with a comment or question? Any other person? Okay. So if no question, no comment, then this is the end of the class today. Next week, I will show you how to come up with a conceptual framework. Now we have seen the concept. We'll put the concepts together to form a conceptual framework, and even how to draw it. So next week I'll draw some of them so that you can also draw using your normal word can help you. And then I'll also introduce you to Canva and Visio in Microsoft. These platforms and others, they can help you to draw your conceptual framework, come up with a conceptual framework. And we'll also I'll also go ahead to teach you how to operationalize the concepts. How do you operationalize the concepts? Actually, we have already done that. We have done that already within our questionnaire, right? We have operationalized some of our concepts. Some of you have that have a Likert scale of 1 to 5. Some of you have 1 to 7. Yeah, so that is there somebody who is joining or something? Okay, yeah, so that's it. That's all. So can we go, or somebody has a question? Okay, now that means we can go. So I wish everyone the best. Have a good night and see you again, God willing, next week. Bye-bye.
Good night. Thank you so much.
Good night. Bye.
Bye.